After my husband passed away, my family cut me off with our triplets. But his parents adopted us all, and 10 years later when my siblings came crawling back. Welcome back, family. If you haven't already, subscribe and say hi in the comments. We'd love to know where you're watching from. With that, let's continue today's story. My name is Amara Jackson and I'm 38 years old now. But this story begins when I was 28, holding 3 newborns while watching my husband take his last breath. Marcus had been my everything since college. 6'3" of pure love, laughter, and dreams. We'd beaten the odds when I got pregnant with triplets naturally. The doctor said it was rare, a blessing. Marcus called them our triple threat. Jaden, Kayla, and Zion were only 3 weeks old when the accident happened. It was a Tuesday morning. Marcus kissed each baby's forehead, then mine. "See you tonight, baby. We'll finally watch that movie," he'd said, grinning. But tonight never came. A drunk driver ran a red light at 2 in the afternoon. The police officer who knocked on my door had tears in his eyes. I remember screaming so loud that Jaden started crying, then Kayla, then Zion, a chorus of pain that matched my soul. The funeral was packed. Marcus had been loved by everyone, his construction crew, our church, the neighborhood kids he coached. But as I stood there in my black dress, breasts leaking through the nursing pads, babies crying in my mother's arms, I felt utterly alone. My sister, Denise, kept checking her phone. My brother, Raymond, left early for work. My mother, Patricia, whispered, "Pull yourself together, Amara. People are watching." That's when I knew. In my darkest hour, I was still performing for them. The weeks after the funeral blurred together. Midnight feedings, changing diapers in the dark, crying while holding bottles. Marcus's life insurance would cover the mortgage for maybe a year, but I had 3 infants and no job. I'd been a marketing coordinator before the babies came, planning to return after maternity leave. Now that future was ashes. I called my mother on a Wednesday. "Mama, I need help. Can you come stay for a few weeks? Just until I figure things out." Silence stretched like taffy. Then, "Amara, you're a grown woman with responsibilities. I have my book club, my volunteer work. You chose to have those babies." My throat closed. "Mama, I didn't choose for Marcus to die." She sighed, heavy with inconvenience. "Life is hard for everyone, baby. You'll manage. We all do." Denise was next. My younger sister, always perfectly put together, answered on the 5th ring. "What's up?" "I'm heading into Pilates." I could hear traffic, her carefree laughter with someone. "Denise, I'm drowning here. Could you maybe come for a weekend? Help with the babies." Her voice turned sharp. "Amara, I love you, but I'm not built for baby stuff. It's overwhelming. Besides, you know how demanding my job is." Raymond didn't even answer. He texted back, "Sorry sis. Going through some stuff. Can't right now." The rejection carved out pieces of my heart I didn't know existed. These were the people who'd celebrated at my baby shower, who'd held my babies at the hospital. Now when I needed them most, they evaporated like morning mist. Marcus's parents, Donald and Lorraine Carter, had been at the house every day since the funeral. At first I thought it was just grief, losing their only son. But on day 23, when I hadn't showered in 4 days and was eating cereal standing over the sink while Zion screamed from reflux, Lorraine found me crying on the bathroom floor. "Baby girl, look at me," she said, kneeling despite her arthritis. She was 65, with silver locks and warm brown eyes that reminded me so much of Marcus. "You don't have to do this alone. Donald and I have been talking. We want to move in. Help you raise these babies. They're all we have left of our son." I sobbed harder. "I can't ask you to do that. You've already raised your child. You deserve to retire, travel, enjoy your lives." Donald appeared in the doorway, his tall frame filling the space just like Marcus used to. "Amar, you're not asking. We're telling you. We sold our condo. The moving truck comes Saturday. Those babies need a village and we're it." "What about my family?" I whispered, though I already knew the answer. Lorraine's jaw tightened. "Have they been here? Have they held these babies while you slept? Have they grocery shopped or cooked or done a single load of laundry?" Her voice cracked. "Blood doesn't make you family. Love does. And we love you. We loved you the moment Marcus brought you home freshman year." That Saturday, Donald and Lorraine moved into our 4-bedroom house. They took the guest room, transformed the office into a nursery annex, and created a schedule that saved my life. Thanksgiving arrived like a ghost. My mother called, her voice syrupy sweet. Amara, you're still coming for dinner, right? Everyone's asking about you and the babies. I looked around at my chaotic living room. Lorraine folding tiny onesies while Jaden napped on her chest. Donald giving Kayla a bottle while watching football. Zion in a bouncer cooing at his reflection. Actually, Mama, we're doing Thanksgiving here this year. You're all welcome to come. Silence. The nice. Here? Amara, I've hosted Thanksgiving for 30 years. It's tradition. Family tradition. My spine straightened. Mama, my family is here. The Carters are doing the real work. If you want to see us, you know where we live. She hung up. Denise texted an hour later. Mom is pissed. Why are you being so difficult? Just come to dinner. I didn't respond. Raymond sent a thumbs up emoji to the family group chat when Mom announced she was hurt by my daughter's choices. Thanksgiving Day, Lorraine made her famous pecan pie and collard greens. Donald deep fried a turkey in the backyard. We ate paper plates on our laps because all 3 babies needed holding. It was chaotic, messy, and perfect. As we said grace, Donald held my hand tight. We're thankful for you, Amara. For trusting us with this journey. I looked at these 2 people who'd chosen me, chosen us, when my own blood couldn't be bothered. That night, my mother sent a cold text. I hope you enjoyed excluding your real family. Don't expect us to keep reaching out if you want to be selfish. I blocked her number. Felt like cutting off a limb, but also like finally breathing. Life became a rhythm. Lorraine handled morning feedings while I showered and attempted to look human. Donald took the babies for stroller walks, his deep voice singing old Motown songs. I started freelancing from home, small marketing gigs that kept money flowing. The life insurance was stretching further with 3 adults splitting expenses. The triplets thrived. Jaden was the serious one, always watching everything with Marcus's intense brown eyes. Kayla was pure sunshine, giggling at everything. Zion was the troublemaker, already trying to escape his bouncer at 6 months. They'd never know their father, but they'd know his parents' love. My family's silence was deafening. I'd see Denise's Instagram posts, brunches with friends, vacation in Miami, her living her best life. Raymond got engaged to a woman I'd never met. My mother started a Facebook group called Grandmas Who Spoil, and posted about other people's grandchildren. The message was clear. I'd chosen wrong and they were moving on. But here's what they didn't see. Me landing a major client that doubled my income. Lorraine teaching me her grandmother's recipes. Donald fixing everything in the house that Marcus had promised to get to. The triplets' first Halloween when we dressed them as lions and Dorothy and Lorraine cried because Marcus had loved The Wizard of Oz. On the anniversary of Marcus's death, we visited his grave together. The babies were 1 year old, toddling around the headstone. I'd brought flowers. Lorraine brought his favorite candy. Donald brought tears. Our son chose well, he said, arm around my shoulders. He'd be so proud of the mother you've become. That night, Denise drunk texted me, I miss you sometimes. I left her on read. By the triplets' second birthday, we'd become a well-oiled machine. I'd built my freelance business into a full remote position with a marketing firm. Benefits for 401k the works. Lorraine had started a neighborhood babysitting co-op, becoming the community grandmother everyone wished they had. Donald retired from his warehouse job and became Mr. Fix-It for the entire block. The kids called them Mimi and Pop Pop. Sometimes Jaden would look at Marcus's picture and ask questions. That's your daddy, Lorraine would say, voice thick. He loved you more than all the stars. We kept Marcus alive in stories, in the way Donald taught Jaden to throw a ball, in Lorraine's hugs that felt like safety. I'd started dating again. Nothing serious, just coffee here and there. A man named Trevor seemed promising until he met the kids and said, wow, that's a lot. And you live with his parents? That's kind of weird. I showed him the door before dessert. The Carters weren't going anywhere. Anyone who wanted me had to understand that. Then my cousin Shayla reached out. We'd been close as kids, but she'd stayed neutral during the family fracture. Amara, I need to tell you something. Your mom's been telling everyone you abandoned the family. That you chose Marcus's parents over your own blood and refused to let them see the kids. My blood boiled. Shayla, they abandoned me when Marcus died. They didn't show up. They didn't help. They made it clear I was inconvenient. She sighed. I know. I just thought you should know what they're saying. Also, Raymond's getting married next month. He wants you there. I laughed, bitter and sharp. He wants me there? Did he want to be there when I was drowning? When I needed family? Raymond's wedding invitation arrived by mail. Formal, expensive, addressed only to me. No mention of my kids. No +3 for the triplets who were his nieces and nephew. Just Ms. Amara Jackson. I held it over the trash can, then showed Lorraine. What do you think I should do? She studied it, lips pursed. What does your gut say? My gut said burn it. My heart said maybe this was an olive branch. I think I need to see them. Face them. Show them I survived without them. The wedding was downtown at an expensive hotel. I wore my best dress, emerald green, fitting my post-baby body perfectly. I'd worked hard to feel good in my skin again. Lorraine stayed home with the kids. Go get your closure, baby, she said, hugging me tight. The moment I walked in, I felt eyes. My mother stood near the entrance in lavender, surrounded by her church friends. When she saw me, her face went through shock, then something like hunger. Amara, you came. She moved to hug me. I stepped back. I came for Raymond. Where is he? Her smile faltered. He's taking pictures. But sweetie, we need to talk. It's been so long. We've missed you so much. Denise appeared, stunning in a bridesmaid dress. Oh my God, Amara. You look amazing. Where are the babies? I've been dying to see them. The audacity choked me. The babies are home. With their grandparents. The ones who actually show up. My mother's face hardened. Amara, don't be dramatic. We've tried to reach out. You blocked us. I pulled out my phone, scrolled to that Thanksgiving text. You said don't expect you to keep reaching out. So I didn't expect it. Raymond found me near the bar, nursing a ginger ale. He looked good, happy, glowing in his tuxedo. Sis, you made it. He hugged me, and for a second I remembered when we were kids building forts in the living room. Then I remembered him texting, can't right now, when I'd needed help changing 3 diapers while crying into a burp cloth. Congratulations, Ray. Your bride is beautiful. He beamed. Thanks. Hey, listen, I know things have been weird. But you're here now. That's what matters. I set down my drink. Weird. Raymond, I needed you. I needed all of you. And you vanished. He had the decency to look uncomfortable. I know. I was going through some stuff. What stuff? My voice rose. What stuff was more important than your sister being widowed with 3 infants? Please enlighten me. People were staring. He lowered his voice. Amara, come on. This is my wedding. Can we not do this now? And there was the same selfishness that had defined my family. You know what? You're right. This is your day. Congratulations on your happiness. I hope you never need anyone the way I needed you. I turned to leave. My mother blocked my path. Amara Jackson, you will not cause a scene at your brother's wedding. I laughed, high and brittle. 'Cause a scene? Like when I was drowning and you chose book club over your grandchildren. That kind of scene. Denise grabbed my arm. You're being unfair. We didn't know how bad it was. I yanked free. I told you how bad it was. I begged for help. And you all had excuses. The room had gone quiet. Raymond's bride appeared, confused. Patricia, my mother, drew herself up. Fine. You want to know the truth? It was too much. He had 3 babies, Amara. 3. That was irresponsible and overwhelming. The words hung in the air like poison. Irresponsible. My voice was deadly quiet. Having babies with my husband was irresponsible? My mother's mask cracked. Having 3 was. Who does that? And then expecting us to drop everything to help you raise them? That wasn't fair to us. Something inside me crystallized into diamond-hard clarity. You're right. It wasn't fair. It wasn't fair that I expected family to act like family. That's on me. Denise tried to soften it. Amara, she didn't mean. Yes, she did. I looked at each of them. You know what the Carters did? They sold their home. They moved in with me. They wake up at 3 a.m. for feedings. They changed their entire lives because they love those kids. Because that's what family does. Raymond's voice was pleading. They're his parents. Of course they'd. And you're my brother. I was shaking now, years of hurt erupting. You, Denise, mama, you're my blood. And you treated me like I was an inconvenience because I had the audacity to need support after my husband died. My mother's eyes filled with tears. We were grieving too. Marcus was like a son to us. The manipulation was masterful, but I saw through it now. No, You liked Marcus because he made me easy. He handled everything. The second he was gone and I needed something from you, I became a burden. The bride's mother approached nervously. Perhaps we should take this outside? I grabbed my clutch. I'm leaving anyway. Raymond, I wish you all the happiness. Denise, I hope your Pilates and brunches fulfill you. Mama. I paused at the door. I hope someday you realize what you lost. Because it wasn't just me. It was Jaden, Kayla, and Zion. 3 beautiful souls who will never know their maternal grandmother's love. I walked out into the night air, shaking but free. For 8 years I didn't hear from them. Not birthdays, not Christmases, not when I started my own marketing agency from home. Not when Jaden won the school science fair or when Kayla got lead in the school play or when Zion learned to read at 5. Radio silence, which was somehow louder than any words. The triplets grew up surrounded by love. Donald taught them to fish, to fix things, to be patient. Lorraine taught them to cook, to sew, to speak their minds respectfully. I taught them that family is who shows up, who stays, who loves you when it's inconvenient. They had cousins. The Carters' extended family embraced us completely. They had godparents, neighbors who became aunts and uncles, teachers who saw their potential. On their 10th birthday we threw a huge backyard party. 50 people came. Friends, neighbors, Donald's former co-workers, Lorraine's book club. We had a bounce house, a taco truck, and a DJ. The kids were in heaven. As I watched Jaden dancing with Mimi, Kayla beating Pop at Limbo, and Zion eating his 3rd cupcake, I felt nothing but gratitude. That night as I tucked them in, Kayla asked the question, "Mommy, why don't we have a grandma on your side?" I'd always been honest with them, age appropriately. Baby, sometimes people aren't ready to be what we need them to be. But you have Mimi and Pop, and they love you enough for 100 grandparents. Jaden, always the analytical one. Did they hurt your feelings? I kissed his forehead. Once upon a time. But I chose to build a life full of people who choose us back. That's the superpower, knowing your worth. Zion yawned. I'm glad we have Mimi and Pop. They make the best pancakes. Kids, man. They knew what mattered. The Facebook message came on a random Tuesday. Denise. Amara, I know it's been years. I know I don't deserve a response. But Mama's sick. Cancer. Stage 3. She's asking for you. I stared at the words, feeling nothing. No surge of sympathy, no rush to help. Just a distant acknowledgement of information received. I showed Lorraine, who'd been folding laundry in the living room. The kids, now 10, were at school. Donald was teaching a woodworking class at the community center. What does your heart tell you? She asked, the same question she always asked. My heart says she made her bed. My head says she's still my mother. My gut says this is manipulation. Lorraine nodded slowly. All of those can be true at once. The question is, what do you need for your peace? I thought about it for 3 days. Then I responded, I'm sorry she's sick. But I'm not the person who shows up anymore. I learned that from you all. Denise called immediately. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. And again. Finally I answered. Amara, please. She's dying. She wants to see you, meet the kids, make things right. My laugh was sharp. Make things right. Denise, it's been a decade. 10 years of birthdays, Christmases, milestones. She didn't care then. Why should I care now? Because she's our mother. Denise was crying. Because family, don't talk to me about family. You don't get to use that word. Not with me. Raymond texted next. Amara, I'm begging you. Please come see her. She has regrets. Let her apologize. I video called him, let him see my face. Where were you when I had regrets? When I regretted begging for help? When I regretted thinking my family would show up? His face crumpled. We were wrong. We know that now. We were selfish and scared and wrong. I told the kids about their maternal grandmother. The truth, age-appropriate but honest. You have another grandmother who I don't see anymore. She's sick now and some people think I should visit her. Jaden, wise beyond his years. Do you want to? That was the question, wasn't it? Did I want to? I don't know, baby. Part of me wants to. Part of me knows it might hurt more than it helps. Kayla climbed into my lap. Mommy, Mimi says we only give our time to people who treasure it. Does she treasure it? Out of the mouths of babes. She didn't before. But maybe now she does. Zion, ever the pragmatist, will seeing her make you sad? I pulled him close. Maybe. But sometimes we do hard things anyway. That weekend, I drove to the hospital alone. The Carters offered to come, but this was something I needed to do myself. My mother's room was at the end of a long hallway that smelled like antiseptic and resignation. Denise waited outside, looking older than her 36 years. "Thank you for coming." I didn't respond, just walked in. My mother lay in the bed, smaller than I remembered, grayer, frilier. Cancer had carved away everything excess, leaving only bones and regret. Her eyes opened when I entered. "Amara. My baby." "I'm not your baby. I haven't been for 10 years. I stayed by the door. Denise said you wanted to see me." Tears leaked from her eyes. "I was wrong. So wrong. I was scared and selfish, and I lost you. I lost my grandchildren. I missed everything." "Yes. You did. I wasn't giving her absolution. I needed you, Mama. I was drowning and you chose yourself." She sobbed, machine beeping faster. "I know. God, I know. Can you forgive me? Could I? Should I?" I thought of Jaden's serious eyes, Kayla's sunshine laugh, Zion's mischievous grin. I thought of Lorraine's steady hands and Donald's terrible dad jokes. I thought of the life I'd built from ashes. I pulled a chair close to the bed, looked my mother in the eyes. "I can't give you what you want. I can't pretend the last 10 years didn't happen or that your apology erases the pain. But I can give you truth." She waited, broken and small. "My kids are incredible. Jaden wants to be an engineer. Kayla writes poetry that makes me cry. Zion can solve a Rubik's Cube in under 2 minutes. They're kind, smart, funny, and loved. They have grandparents who worship them, who moved their entire lives to show up every single day." My mother's face crumpled. "I should have been there." "Yes, you should have. But you weren't, and I survived. I thrived. I built a family from people who chose us. That's my gift to my children, knowing that love is a choice, not an obligation." I stood. "I forgive you because holding on to anger was poisoning me. But forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. You don't get access to my life or my children. That door closed a long time ago." Denise burst in, having clearly been listening. "Amara, that's cruel. She's dying. And I was dying 10 years ago. Emotionally, mentally, financially dying. Where was your compassion then?" I looked at Raymond, who'd appeared behind Denise. "You want to be in my life now? Because it's convenient? Because guilt is heavy? That's not how this works." My mother reached for my hand. I let her take it just for a moment. "I'm proud of you," she whispered. "The woman you became. I'm proud." I squeezed once, then let go. "I became her despite you, not because of you. That's the saddest part." I walked out of that hospital with my head high. They called after me, promises of change, pleas for another chance. But I'd learned that some bridges, once burned, should stay ashes. 3 weeks later, my mother passed. I sent flowers but didn't attend the funeral. Instead, I took my kids to the beach where Pop taught them to surf and Mimi collected shells. That night, around a bonfire, Jaden asked if I was sad. "A little," I admitted. "But mostly I'm grateful. For you three, for Mimi and Pop, for the family we chose and who chose us back." Kayla leaned against me. "We're lucky, huh, Mommy?" "The luckiest," I agreed, watching the sun set gold over the water. Because family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up when the world falls apart. It's about who stays when love is inconvenient. It's about the Carters, who taught me that home isn't where you're born. It's where you're treasured. 10 years ago, I lost my husband and my family. But I gained something infinitely more valuable. The knowledge that I was strong enough to choose myself, to build a life on my own terms, and to raise 3 beautiful souls who knew their worth. My siblings can live with their guilt. I'll live with my peace. And that, I've learned, makes all the difference. Look, I know family is supposed to come first, but there has to be a line somewhere, right? Tell me honestly, did I do the right thing, or am I going to regret this?